Welcome to this session, course title DSC Public Finance, Unit 1 Budgeting Techniques, Module name Concepts of Budgeting and Program Budgeting. Myself is Bibi Asha Kanmeshwar. I am an assistant professor in Carmel College of Arts, Science and Commerce. Outline concepts of budgeting and program budgeting. Here we are going to see meaning of budgeting, concepts of program budgeting, advantages and disadvantages of program budgeting. A learning outcome, students will be able to understand the concept of budgeting and program budgeting and also its merits and demerits. Here we are going to see concepts of budgeting. The government is a major provider of goods and services because there are private players who don't want to take risk. There are some goods and services where the private players are not interested. So here the government have to provide such goods and services. For example, cleaning the rivers or building the bridges. Here the private players are most likely to incur the loss. So because the private players are not private individuals are not providing this kind of goods and services, the government have to come into the picture, and they are the one who are providing these kinds of goods and services. So they are not going to provide these goods and services only for one region or only for one state. They are providing it for the whole country. Okay, so because of this reason, some policy framework is required, some kind of planning is required. So because of this reason, the government, they try to plan the revenue as well as its expenditure. Okay, so here they are going to see what will be their expected revenue. Okay, the revenue comes from tax, non-tax, fees, fine. Okay, these are the various sources. So now they are expecting like how much they are going to collect from, how much revenue they are going to collect from tax, how much revenue they are going to collect from non-tax revenue. Okay, so how much money they are going to collect from fees, fines. Okay, there are other sources also. So they are expecting their revenue as well as they are anticipating their expenditure. Okay, so like how much money they have to spend if they want to implement certain program, policy or scheme, how much money they have to spend. So they are anticipating their expenditure. So this kind of planning where they are expecting the revenue from different sources and they are anticipating their expenditure for one financial year, it is called as budgeting. Okay, so this is called as budgeting, where the government is expecting the revenue, at the same time they are anticipating their expenditure. The word budget comes from a French word that is budget, which means that leather bag. Okay, let me explain the meaning of financial year. Financial year starts from 1st April and it ends on 31st March of the following year. Okay, take this example, financial year of 2022, it will start from 1st April 2022 and it will end on 31st March of following year, that is 31st March 2023. Okay, from 2017 onwards, the budgets is announced on 1st February so that they can get a legislative approval. Okay, and there are different methods of budgeting. Some of them are like zero-based budgeting, incremental budgeting, program budgeting, performance budgeting. But in this session we are going to focus on program budgeting. Okay, the program budgeting was first introduced in US Defense Department in 1961 by Robert M. Nemmer, and it is also used in India. This kind of budgeting method is used by the government as well as by non-profit organization, and this kind of budgeting is done for a longer duration, maybe 3 years to 5 years, and their main aim is to allocate the resources in a proper channel. We know that the resources are scarce and it should be allocated properly so that they can achieve the objectives. It is also called as output budgeting. Okay, now let's see the steps that are involved in program budgeting. First, we need to define the goals of the goals that we want to achieve. Okay, then secondly, we have to identify the functions. Then we have to select the program on the basis of cost benefit analysis. Here this kind of method is used where the benefit should be more than the cost. For instance, if I am starting a business, then the business should yield more profit than the a loss. Okay, for example, if I am investing 10,000 in any business, I should be yielding more than the 10,000 rupees. Okay, the profit should be more than 10,000 rupees. Then only I will be continuing with this kind of business. Okay, if I incur 8,000, 5,000, then I am incurring a loss. So similarly here, if a government wants to implement certain scheme, program, then the benefit should be more than the cost incurred by the government. Then we have to allocate resources to productive programs. Then we have to implement the selected program. It means that the program should be implemented on time. For instance, if a government wants to build a toilet in one particular region, maybe a rural area, if they are implementing this kind of program after 10 years, then it has no use. Okay, because by that time those people will build the toilet by themselves. Okay, so the program should be implemented on time. Then evaluate the performance of the program to ensure optimum utilization of resources. This is also important, like how as a teacher we evaluate the students' performance. Similarly here the programs are evaluated, like how it is performing, and if any changes are required, then a particular step will be taken against it. Then we have advantages. Advantages of this program budget involve it ensures effective and efficient operations through improved allocations of resources. Resources are properly allocated so that the program should provide maximum benefit to the society. Secondly, it enables management. Secondly, it enables management to assess effectiveness of its plan, because we are evaluating the program on each step. Because of this reason, the management also get a proper idea like how we can implement this kind of programs. Next, it ensures optimum utilization of available scarce resources. We know that resources are scarce in this world. So if we are using this kind of resources optimally, then it may increase the welfare of the society. Then next thing is it has an orientation toward achieving social objectives. By implementing certain programs, schemes, it can increase, by doing that we can achieve social objectives. Okay, lastly, it select most favorable program through cost effective analysis. We have mentioned one thing in the when we were discussing about the steps in program budgeting, we are using cost benefit analysis. So here we are going to select those programs which are yielding maximum benefits to the society. Okay, so it is also beneficial for the government. Here the government is not going to incur more cost on such kind of programs or scheme or policy. Okay, Then we have disadvantages of program budgeting. Here it is difficult to classify all operations into various programs or policy or goal. Second, it is not providing an operational tools for the line executives who are implementing the policies. Then it has no relevance with the actual budget. And the last thing is that it is meant for the new program. Okay, it is not evaluating the existing program. So these are some of the demerits or drawback of program budgeting. Reference. Thank you.